This week on ANN, lightning strikes a church in Rwanda, killing 15.
Adventists are the first to respond after an earthquake in the island nation of Papua New Guinea.
And ADRA is working in the Philippines after a violent volcano eruption.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, lightning struck a Rwandan church on March 10, killing at least 15 members. More than 130 others attending Sabbath services at the Gihimvu Seventh-day Adventist Church were taken to an area hospital and other health centers. Some of those treated have since been released.
Church leaders and government officials, including Abidan Ruhongeka, president of the South Rwandan Field, and Murishankwanu Marie Rhodes, the governor of the southern province of Rwanda, attended a special burial ceremony held Sunday, March 11. Rose offered condolences to the families of the deceased and declared that the district of Nyaruguru will pay the medical bills of those still receiving treatment.
Ted Wilson, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, expressed sympathy for the members in the Rwandan on his Facebook page. He said, "On behalf of the world family of Seventh-day Adventists circling the globe, we have offered our deep sympathy and Christian love to all our members in the Rwandan Union, which is in the East Central African Division, and especially to the families who have lost loved ones and to those who were injured in this traumatic event. Truly, God will provide comfort and encouragement during this trying ordeal."
To read more, visit news.adventist.org.
Seventh-day Adventists were among the first to respond after a powerful earthquake devastated villages in the Papua New Guinea. The 7.5 magnitude quake struck the southern highlands region of the nation on February 26, with 122 reported deaths. Since then, there has been a series of at least 70 aftershocks. A reported 80% of the houses in the impacted region have been destroyed. Willie Kunsi, the emergency coordinator for the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, in Papua New Guinea, said more than 143,000 people have been identified as needing urgent humanitarian assistance. The Adventist Church, through Adventist Aviation Services, or AAS, aided first response efforts. By Friday morning, AAS CEO Captain Jeff Downs and Flight Coordinator Samson Nopi were able to purchase more than $4,000 worth of rice, tinned fish, and water. On Friday and Saturday, they delivered over 1,800 pounds of food and water to villages in need. Papua New Guinea's government is relying on foreign aid to get relief to the affected areas. ADRA and AAS will continue monitoring the situation and work with the government and other agencies to provide support to affected villages. The Adventist Church in Papua New Guinea asks for prayers for relief efforts and the people impacted by the earthquake.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency in the Philippines is helping with relief efforts after the country's most active volcano, Mount Mayon, erupted on January 25th. The sudden eruption has forced thousands to evacuate the province of Albay. The ongoing volcanic activity has created a humanitarian crisis for the 98,000 people who have been evacuated from their homes. Widespread damage caused by ash and smoke has affected residents' livelihood. Many are unsure when they will be allowed to return home. Through a strong partnership with the Southern Luzon Mission, ADRA Philippines was able to identify the humanitarian needs, fund the response, and distribute bedding kits to 1,400 families in several evacuation centers. The bedding kits consist of a sleeping mat, bedding, and mosquito kit. ADRA Philippines is also working in partnership with the Manila Water Foundation to provide clean water for more than 600 families. For more information and to keep up with work ADRA is doing in the Philippines, you can follow them at facebook.com/ADRA Philippines.
The Family Ministries Department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, along with 3 African world regions, or divisions, came together March 1 through 3 to discuss relevant challenges facing marriage and the family. The Adventist Pan-African Conference on Dynamic Family Relations was organized by World Church Family Ministries Department Directors Willie and Elaine Oliver, together with Family Ministries Departments from the East Central Africa, West Central Africa, and Southern Africa Indian Ocean regions. The conference was organized to discuss the relationship between deeply embedded cultures and traditions throughout Africa and the biblical worldview as related to families. Willie Oliver said, "We are becoming more like the world instead of being salt and light. This is just an opportunity to slow down and take another look at the biblical message for families." The conference covered a wide variety of topics, including polygamy, dual-career marriages where both partners work, bride price, and divorce, all through the lens of culture. Blasius Ruguri, president of the Adventist Church in East Central Africa, concluded, "To me, it is significant to have almost all of the presenters as Bible scholars bred in Africa who know the culture of Africa. They are addressing these things from a very unbiased perspective. Here we cannot accuse any outsider of coming and despising our culture. I think this is probably the best treatment of the problem we have ever had. To read more about this exciting conference, visit AdventistReview.org.
The Seventh-day Adventist community recently inaugurated its first church in Erbil, the capital city of the Iraqi Kurdistan region. The official opening ceremony included local authorities and representatives from the headquarters of the Middle East and North Africa Union.
After several decades of war and instability, many Adventists left Iraq and the church was severely affected. All the Adventist churches in the country started to close one by one until the last church in Baghdad had to shut its doors.
In 2011, Adventists from Baghdad, Nicaragua, and Brazil began to meet together in Erbil to worship. The group grew, particularly as the Adventist Church's humanitarian agency. The Adventist Development and Relief Agency came to the region to work for refugees and internally displaced people.
With the new building, the church can receive more people. They are planning various projects to serve community members.
Rick McEdwards, president of the Adventist Church in the Middle East and North Africa region, believes being a light in the community should remain a focus for the new facility. As Adventists, we are called to bring hope to the world. After years of crisis, it is a great moment to see a new church open to serve the area. We are grateful to God for the freedom to open a place of prayer and service in order to bring God's love to the world.
Coming up, Adventist leaders in Bangladesh hold a special seminar on health.
But up next, the top leader for the Adventist Church in the Middle East and North Africa makes a visit to Sudan.
Ich bin Gerald. Ich spreche Deutsch. Es gibt so viele gute adventistische Videos, doch so wenige sind übersetzt. Du kannst uns helfen.
Join the AMARA translation and caption team today. AMARA is easy to learn and fun. You can volunteer in your free time. Join this community today and provide great content in your language.
Welcome back.
Recently, Rick McEdwards, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Middle East and North Africa, made his first visit to the nation of Sudan.
McEdwards shared his appreciation that Sudan, a predominantly Muslim nation, provided official recognition to the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
McEdwards met with His Excellency Abu Bakr Osman Ibrahim, the Minister of Guidance and Endowment, who oversees the Department of Church Relations. Ibrahim welcomed this initial meeting as a sign of good relations.
It's a great pleasure to have our church operate here. We appreciate the open support and freedom from the Sudanese government, said McEdwards.
While in Sudan, McEdwards also met with local Adventist congregations. I am very encouraged after visiting our churches in Sudan. The believers are doing well and are happy with the government. I challenge our groups to be a light to their communities by sharing God's love.
More than 250 people attended a special health seminar in Bangladesh earlier this year. Leaders from 3 departments in the Bangladesh Adventist Union Mission, or BAUM, provided a health program called Workshop and Seminar for Better Life for the caregivers and parents of the largest Adventist school in Dhaka. Most students from the Dhaka Adventist Pre-Seminary School are Muslim. The caregivers are usually Muslim as well. The seminar was organized by BAUM's Health, Children, and Women's Ministries Department. During the sessions, Communication Director for the Adventist Church in Bangladesh, Litin S. Halder, emphasized the importance of health for all. Children's Ministries Department Director Young Moon Lee explained the benefits of vegetarian diet and demonstrated how to make kimchi. Her sessions were very popular since kimchi can be easily made with inexpensive local ingredients. Halder was delighted with the turnout and participation. All the parents and guardians appreciated and enjoyed our programs very much. Some of them have invited us to conduct these types of programs in their own schools and institutions. We had a very good time sharing our health, family, and children ministry message to our Muslim, Hindu, and Christian friends, as well as people from other religions.
6 pastors were among 20 leaders from across the Trans-European region, or TED, who attended a public affairs and religious liberty consultation led by TED President and PARL Director Rafat Kamal. Lectures, question and answer periods, and 2 afternoons of exploring Jerusalem with an Adventist biblical scholar and archaeologist made for a full and positive experience. The Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Director for the Adventist World Church, Ganun Diab, shared the challenges and opportunities that come to church leaders who are willing to engage with those of other faith groups and people of influence. We need to be involved in the public forum. Many people do not know who we are. For many who do know us, the perception is not always favorable. The 5-day meeting concluded with a list of practical suggestions in the areas of training, consulting, reporting, and development. David Namek from the Baltic Union summed up the feelings of all participants at the end of the consultation. I am grateful to Kamal for organizing this event. The presentations helped me to see a bigger picture of the work of APOL and gave ideas about how we can build bridges between us and the community where we live. We are ambassadors of Christ, called for a ministry of reconciliation. TAD Adventist sent this report.
We had the privilege this past week to meet as leaders from the Trans-European Division in a APOL consultation. APOL stands for Public Affairs and Religious Liberty. It is such an important thing because it holds encapsulated the values that we have in the Bible so dearly. The whole public affairs and religious liberty started with the Garden of Eden, where God gave us a choice, free choice, to worship Him, to follow Him. And this whole meeting was about bringing that essence back, studying the values from the Bible, praying together, worshiping together. And also we had an element of communication. The whole thing, how do you communicate in the public space, in the public arena, and communicate in a positive way to bring a blessing and make God known. That's what we did this past week, and that was a blessing for our leaders here in Jerusalem. Why Jerusalem? It's an amazing place. Many things happen here which have to do with public affairs and religious liberty. And when we think about our church, Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Jerusalem, we have many things to praise God for and be blessed with.
Last month, Loma Linda University Health hosted the 7th International Congress on Vegetarian Nutrition. The 3-day event explored the theme of plant foods for the health of people, populations, and the planet. The more than 700 attendees included researchers, physicians, nutritionists, and scientists. The group met at the campus Drayson Center to examine the latest findings on lifestyle practices and vegetarian nutrition that can be used effectively in the treatment and prevention of chronic diseases. Scientific presentations and panel discussions centered around recent advancements in basic science, epidemiology, and clinical trials in vegetarian nutrition from around the world. Richard Hart, president of Loma Linda University Health, welcomed the international group of attendees on opening day. Giving nutritional advice is as old as the Bible itself, but as new as the newest tablet. Seventh-day Adventists have been doing it for over 150 years now, and Loma Linda University Health has been studying the connections between food and health since the 1950s. The conference, held every 5 years, offers an opportunity for health professionals to learn from each other in plenary sessions, symposia, and short oral and poster presentations. Over the past 30 years, the Congress has become the premier scientific conference on the health effects of plant-based diets. Visit vegetariancongress.org for more information and updates on the next Congress scheduled for 2023.
After 15 years of activity, the Adventist school in Tiraspol, Moldova, was closed because it did not have its own property. Children were left to study in secular schools, but in 2015, the school received a new breath of life.
Today, we will tell you about teachers and children who do not see the meaning of life without an Adventist education. The Euro-Asian Division sent this report.
В 1792 году по специальному указу Александра Суворова на левом берегу Днестра появился город Тирасполь. Через 140 лет после основания города мы находим в истории упоминание о первых адвентистах в этой местности. И уже через 180 лет появляется первая община адвентистов седьмого дня. Но, что примечательно, что спустя 200 лет от основания города появляется первая адвентистская школа. После 15 лет своей деятельности, активной деятельности, из-за отсутствия собственного здания школа была закрыта. Дети ушли в другие школы, получая светское образование. Но в 2015 году школа получила новое дыхание жизни. И первые 10 детей начали обучаться в адвентистской школе, получая адвентистское образование. Сегодня мы расскажем вам об учителях и детях, которые не видят смысла жизни без адвентистского образования.
Адвентисты левобережья Днестра не просто приняли весть об Иисусе, но проявили особое рвение и любовь к делу Божьему. Так появились не только 2 адвентистские общины, но адвентистская школа, помогающая взрослым и детям почувствовать особое отношение к себе, узнать о принципах, которые завещал сам Иисус. Адвентистская школа, прекратившая свою деятельность в 2011 году, снова была организована в 2015 году благодаря финансовой поддержке Евроазиатского дивизиона и Молдавского униона церквей. Самая большая награда для преподавателей адвентистской школы – это измененные жизни. Макар и его родители не посещают адвентистскую церковь, но они очень вдохновлены тем, что встретительское образование предоставляет значимое мировоззрение, построенное вокруг сотворения, грехопадения, искупления и пересотворения, и основано на Библии и вдохновенных советах Эллен Уайт. В контексте этого мировоззрения ученики побуждаются к целостному развитию и росту – духовно, физически, умственно и социально. Подчеркивается служение Богу и другим. Восстановление Божьего образа в каждом человеке является целью образования и жизни. Это закаляет характер, укрепляет разум против зла и готовит учащегося к служению Богу и другим. Главным достижением Тираспольской адвентистской школы являются посвященные преподаватели. Посвящение делу – их главная характеристика. Несмотря на скромные доходы, они с любовью передают детям свои знания. Несмотря на трудности, ограничения свободы совести, недостаток средств и отсутствие собственного помещения, адвентистская школа в Тирасполе достигает главной цели – обучает новое поколение наукам и христианским добродетелям. Здесь дети чувствуют себя как дома. Они просят, чтобы их позже забрали и раньше принесли. Учитель для них – это вторая мама, а директор школы – любящий папа. Особая атмосфера, отсутствие скверных слов, индивидуальный подход и помощь в развитии талантов являются неотъемлемой частью работы школьного коллектива. Адвентисты Тирасполя уверены, что адвентистское образование – это самый эффективный метод служения, и они с любовью посвятили себя на этот труд.
Провозглашение небесных принципов всегда изменяло судьбы людей. Любовь, понимание, взаимоуважение, принятие не только подчеркивают ценность человека, но и открывают для него новые возможности. Сегодня, побывав в школе «Источник знаний», мы с вами встретили учителей, которые не устают любить, и учеников, которые не устают учиться. Наша молитва о том, чтобы эти потоки любви и нежности никогда не переставали течь.
Наша школа самая лучшая.
You can watch the full video at news.adventist.org.
Coming up, Emily Mastrapa is here to share how you can get involved in World Water Day.
But up next, learn about a miracle in Puerto Rico.
As president of a 17 million member global church, I spend a lot of time traveling to visit our worldwide church. Unfortunately, even if I traveled every single day, I wouldn't be able to meet a fraction of our Seventh-day Adventist church family. However, I want to share some experiences about our worldwide family. This is why the General Conference Communication Department is launching a new blog called Presidential Perspectives. Now, this page will be used to share sermons, articles, photos, and videos from the Office of the President. So stop by and get to know us at perspectives.adventist.org.
Welcome back.
A teacher gave Kermit and his classmates an interesting assignment.
The teacher asked them to find someone in need and then help that person with something meaningful. The result was a miracle.
Adventist Mission has more.
On the island of Puerto Rico, a teacher gave Kermit and the rest of his class an interesting homework assignment. The teacher asked the students to find someone in need and then help that person with something meaningful. Kermit smiled and thought this was an easy task. He already enjoyed helping people, so all he needed then was someone to help. Some of the classmates got together after school and decided if they teamed up, they could help even more people. Perhaps they could feed all of the homeless people in their town. So one student volunteered to bring rice and beans, and another student to bring a side dish, and others said they would bring salad and juice. When the feeding day came, all the arrangements were ready. The students met in the town square, where many homeless people often sat all day and slept on the benches. The students set up a nice table and placed bowls of rice, beans, and other dishes on the table. One of the students brought 150 paper plates to serve the food. But quickly, Kermit and his friends noticed that they had way more plates than food. All the food they brought might only fill 50 paper plates. After all this effort, this wasn't going to be enough. As they searched for a solution, someone suggested that they pray for God to bless the meal and help them feed everyone who was hungry. So they prayed and asked God to bless the food and the people who were going to eat it. When they said amen, the homeless people started lining up. While several friends spooned large portions of food onto paper plates, Kermit walked around the town square, looking for people to invite to the meal. Soon, Kermit had invited everyone he could find. He came back to see if there was any food left. Surprisingly, the food was all gone, and so were all the paper plates. Not a single item was left. Even though they only had enough food for 50 people, they had given out 150 generous plates. Kermit and his friends saw a miracle that day. God had blessed and multiplied the food. The students were very happy, and they spoke excitedly about what had happened. They remembered the miracle of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, when Jesus prayed over the boys' small lunch and then used it to feed the 5,000. Some students believed that Jesus performed the same miracle for them that day, and they never forgot this incredible gift from heaven. Today, Kermit, who is now the pastor of 4 churches, gratefully remembers his homework assignment to help others. This shaped his life and motivated him to continue helping those in need. The members Kermit pastors feed rice and beans to 150 people every Sabbath, and his other church feeds a similar number on Thursdays. As these churches feed the hungry, the town's homeless people find more than food. They also encounter Jesus, the bread of life. Can you think of someone you can help? Share your ideas with your parents or Sabbath school teacher. God has a special plan for you.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org, then click on videos at the top.
World Water Day is March 22nd. This year's theme, Nature for Water, explores how we can use nature to overcome the water challenges of our day.
Emil Mastrapa is here to show how you can get involved.
1.9 billion people live in areas where water is already scarce. 2.1 billion people live without safe drinking water at home, affecting their health, education, and livelihoods. How can we reduce water pollution, floods, and droughts? World Water Day is March 22. This day is about focusing our attention on the importance of water. This year's theme is Nature for Water. It explores how we can use nature to overcome the water challenges of the 21st century. Environmental damage, together with climate change, is driving the water-related crisis we see around the world. When we neglect our ecosystems, we make it harder to provide everyone with the water we need to survive. Restoring ecosystems creates jobs in areas like recreation, fishing, and agriculture. Nature-based solutions have the potential to solve many of our water challenges. You can take action for World Water Day. Visit worldwaterday.org to find resources that you can download and use on your social media pages. Visit their map of events to find an event near you that you can participate in. Be sure to check in with Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, to see what they're doing for World Water Day. Visit adra.org to learn more. You can also follow along on Facebook at Join ADRA or Twitter at ADRAINTL. Join us as we spread the word on the importance of water.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to Alejandra Castillo for a look at Adventist history.
This week is a week of intrigue, as falsified documents claim a lady by the name of Margaret Rowan would be a future messenger of God.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On March 12th of 1926, Dr. B. Fulmer went to the Seventh-day Adventist leaders in Los Angeles, California, and confessed that during his visit to the Ellen G. White estate at St. Helena in 1919, he had opened the drawer of her 1911 manuscripts and slipped in a little document. This document was a falsified letter to which Mrs. White's name had been attached, claiming that a lady by the name of Margaret Rowan would be a future messenger of God. Now, Margaret Rowan had been a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Los Angeles, California, and around 1916 she began to issue alleged messages from God saying she had received the gift of prophecy. The visions and testimonies were remarkable in their similarity to some of Ellen White's, but after careful investigation in 1917, the Pacific Union Conference issued a statement saying they had failed to find any evidence that these manifestations were of divine origin. Even so, some Adventists accepted Rowan as a prophet. In 1919, Mrs. Rowan attempted to establish her credibility and declared she had seen in a vision a document in the manuscript files of Ellen White acknowledging Margaret Rowan as God's messenger. This was, of course, the same document her faithful supporter, Dr. Fulmer, had snuck in earlier that year. Although the document bore evidence of forgery, it garnered more attention for Mrs. Rowan's movement. To his great disappointment, Dr. Fulmer eventually discovered that Margaret Rowan was stealing from her own organization. This led to his confession in March of 1926, which contributed to the disintegration of Mrs. Rowan's movement. That was this day in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28.
The passage says, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.